Hey, what's up guys, this is Oakley and we're doing a online battle. It's going to be two factions as the Jutes versus the Danes and the Huns. So it's going to be myself and my ally over here as the Jutes, and their opponent is going to be, like I said, the Huns, and the Huns are going to be facing off against me over on this side, and the Danes over here. So they have a lot of heavy infantry, a lot of huge pike line. You can actually go ahead and watch this from the front. So pretty formidable battle. I haven't played too many battles in Attila recently, and I'm actually looking forward to playing some more. I just played a couple rounds not too long ago, and I'm recording them, and they turned out really fun. It's nice to switch around between the Total Wars and get back to this. Anyway, something you'll notice is there's a little bit of skirmishing going on here. Some step-mounted brigands were positioned here. However, we had some cavalry also hidden, probably to protect our flanks, so a good move on my allies' part. He's going to be chasing away the Hunnic cavalry on that side. Meanwhile, I had pre-deployed some Nordic brigands over here in the shrub, and they were meant to just contest this area, and now they're going to be moving forward, probing the enemy, seeing where the cavalry are. And then also brought some dogs, some warhounds, and these guys are really cheap, just 100 apiece, and they were meant to fight against the Huns. The dogs are some of the quickest units in the game, and now I can sick them on light units in the forest. You'll see them start to chew through these undefended archers, so I'm able to force him back. And then dogs are actually, wow, look at that, all these units went down. But yeah, dogs are really nice because then you can also sick them on cavalry, especially in the Huns, break their charge, chase them down, and really force them back. So they're a very good control type unit. Over here, the Huns have managed to escape, and our forces are now going to sort of form up on the right flank. On the center, I'm starting to shift more and more cavalry. I'm going to start pushing forward with some of my Nordic brigands. It looks like my war dogs over here are up to 44 kills. Actually, let's see. Yeah, 44 kills, I believe. So they're starting to rake in the kills, getting some nice action in the woods. The dogs are still going, however, they're now up against a shield wall, so it's not going to be quite as strong. But at least I got a little bit of scouting done. It caused the troops to shuffle around, and now I can see kind of what we're dealing with in the forest. Perhaps you can't see it too well on your screen, but it's a mix of a lot of these Bosphorus infantry taking up the front, back that up with a lot of these sort of Huskar, or these Nordic hurdlers, so a lot of slingers and archers, so it's not that strong of a front, and I figured we could take it by massing a lot of infantry, which you can see us doing over here. I even have the front rows of herdmen, so I have 4 of these units really formed up deep, and they were getting ready for the assault all along this plain, this no man's land here. Pretty scary sight, all these armies kind of hiding in the forest. No one wants to venture forward, so we're going to have to precipitate some sort of action, which is what I'm doing over here. Now, look at this, the Huns are going to be moving out from the forest, and they want to fight me on the open terrain on the left. This is where the Huns will normally prevail, so they're going to be moving forward. It looks like, yeah, they have a combined army coming here, so I'm going to pull back my forces, and let's put this on slow motion. Like I said, I have the dogs on intercept duty, so I can send them up in the center. They're going to stop these steppe lancers. The steppe lancers try and get out of the way. I intercept them, so I'm blocking that assault. And then these steppe lancers here, I had one javelin force in the forest. He didn't quite see them, and he started getting absolutely destroyed. You can see a lot of these horses starting to go down. So you put guys on staggered formation like this, so even if he charges one brigand force, the one in the back will do more damage. And then over here, I had enough time to form up in shield wall, so his attack, let's put this on play, just comes crashing into them, but doesn't do as much damage as he would have liked. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the flank of cavalry, and yes, he's going to land another strike on me. My Nordic warriors are going to start losing men, but my dogs are in pursuit, and then I also have these javelin men in this position to do some supporting fire onto the side of his cavalry, so I should be able to break that up. Then over here, I pulled back all my cavalry so that his guys had to be sort of 2 versus 1, and I can hold up a lot of his guys. I actually got some javelin throws against his men, and then when he's not looking, I'm going to go ahead and countercharge him. So a lot of the time in these battles, actually, if you guys don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and put this on pause just so I can describe the strategy. The Huns are going to outplay you in terms of cavalry. They have better cavalry, more numbers, and all that. So you have to do something tricky to beat them back. So you saw I didn't commit that many cavalry forces. I sent up 2 on this flank, pulled them back. That distracted the Huns. As the Huns were redeploying, I then sent in some dogs. The dogs were able to chase away his lancers, separate his forces, and then any of his guys who got committed to this front, I had nearby javelin men ready to clean up. And the javelin men are really crucial. Don't put them up front the entire time. Some of them were here to ward off an attack, but have some reserve troops to support units that get charged, and then immediately devote them to cavalry grinds like this. You can see just how many kills they're getting on these cavalry. It's pretty impressive. So we'll put this back on play. So use them in supporting roles. and they're going to rack up a lot of kills. So this is probably the best way to use javelin men, I believe, is wait for the enemy to be tied down, big massive targets, and then pour in the fire. And then the rest of my cavalry is going to be swooping around the backs, waiting for the last moment to engage. He's going to be doing a nice countercharge against me, and I really love these blood effects. See, I had that patch, and now the blood is sticking in a lot more. So pretty brutal fight on this side. But I'm going to start to get the edge. A lot of his cavalry were forced to charge into the rear of his own cavalry, so not really that great. And again, look at the amount of kills I'm getting here with my javelins. So I'm forcing him to bunch up his cavalry. That's to my advantage. Let's put this on slow motion because stuff is going to start happening. So I'm moving in a lot of my elite Nordic warriors. These guys also have javelins, so that's going to be perfect for cleaning up operations on these cavalry. If they stay engaged for too long, they're going to get just destroyed by my reserve lines. So this fight is sort of evening up. And now in the center, what we did is we sent like an initial force of just some Huskarls. So that's going to be enough to start to soften up the opponents. They're pretty good troops, and now you can see the opponents kind of deploying everything up against us in the woods. I love the fire effects here as well. Some of the cavalry coming in, and this is basically just to swamp down the opponents. And now here comes the rest of the charge. A lot of our javelins. The Hunnic cavalry is still somewhat alive. We're going to go ahead and chase them down, and these skirmishers are going to be sort of prompting our second wave. So here we go, let's watch some of this. Absolutely just destroying this cavalry force. So skirmisher is very, very good in these types of engagements. The Huns are going to continue to try and commit to this fight, but they're going to get kind of destroyed by the reinforcements who are now going to charge. And yes, they broke one of our javelins, but that's not worth trading in, half of your Hunnic warlord for. So that was a bad trade on our opponent's part. Meanwhile, our Huskars are continuing to chase down the opponents in the woods. However, we will lose in that grinding fight, so we do need some reinforcements. Over here, they have a huge pike line, so that's why we're not engaging on this front. And then here comes the massive assault up the front. And take a look what's going on the right flank. I'm lining up with a bunch of my herdmen, and the right flank is basically mine. So a huge enveloping force. Let's go ahead and look at this on the map taking place here as we're starting to swamp, roll around the sides. All the blood spatters on the right side showing the destruction of the cavalry. I'm chasing down the remainder of his cavalry, and then we're going to start to close in on our opponents here. So they definitely still have a lot of archers, and they can start doing damage to our guys. But we just brought a lot of numbers, and the Jute forces are actually pretty well armored, so you'll see us be able to tank this, and we just have to get close to the opponents and then allow our armor penetration to start to come into effect. However, as the pikes start to move in, this could be a problem for our guys. We do have a lot of numbers, but if they can defend themselves behind a pike wall, there's not much we can do for that. So they're going to try and hide behind their pike wall. Not the best coordination. These Bosphorus infantry should really be hiding behind that pike wall. But this is why we brought javelins. We're going to exactly target those enemy pikes and try and shred those guys. So let's watch another volley coming in from these guys. So here they go. They're lining up. I want to watch this kind of land amongst... Yeah, just devastating. And you can see a little bit more of the blood and gore taking place here. Piercing through these guys. The trees. I love how the trees actually catch the javelins and it pierces through them. Oh my god, some of those guys just got painted red. Incredible. So yeah, this is how we're going to keep the pressure on here. And this pike unit is going to start losing men rapidly. Our javelins don't have that much ammo, but it's enough to keep that at bay. Meanwhile, we're going to be wrapping up here. I don't even have all of my forces committed. I have my herdmen sent into the fray though, but my elite guys are still waiting. And we want to just make sure we saturate the forest with low-level guys, make sure we tie up the opponents, and then send in our elite forces as follow-up to tackle the pikes where the pikes aren't facing. So here comes a massive charge from my elite Nordic warriors, treading over all the bodies, just waiting on the outskirts of the forest. The rest of my units who dealt with the cavalry are now going to be coming in, and look at this bloodbath. Still some forces kind of alive. Oh no, that's the animations kicking in. I thought that was like Shogun 2 where the forces just keep going. Anyways, my columns are now swirling around this side. Still some of my dogs are alive. My cavalry is still in the fight. They're going to be coming and smashing into the skirmishers. The skirmishers had been scared out of the forest and they're planning their retreat to the back of the pikes. Able to intercept them midway, and let's see if we can't get any of the cool new combat animations. I haven't been able to see too many of those. Looks like these, we're not going to see too much happening here. Meanwhile, the rest of my guys are circling around in the back. and now you're going to start to see a mass rout happen with these skirmishers. Now that we get the complete encirclement, these Nordic horse lords are really, really good cavalry. They were nerfed in a patch not too long ago, but still, you see them with 151 kills. Yeah, they're going to be mopping up that whole blob. Pikes here are going to be turning against our cavalry, so we have to pull ourselves out of there, but we were able to break the Nordic raid leader at least. More pikes moving in, and the rest of the pikes are going to be engaged on this front, trying to hold us back. So my elite warriors were peeled off, and so they're going to be going actually right in this little gap between the pikes, whereas the haired men are going to be combining it with my allies' forces into this position, cleaning up the remainder of the guys who aren't past the spear wall. So let's see if we can actually watch a little bit of these animations. I really want to see some decapitations or something take place. Yeah, looks like they're going ahead and lobbing each other's heads off. Speaking of battles, I want to let you guys know that I am still obviously working on the next part of the Battle of Adrianople documentary. I'm most of the way through that. I'm just at the moment a busy college student, like you guys saw in that video yesterday, so I am working on my midterms and all this stuff, so I'm a little busy. But yeah, as soon as possible I want to get back to that. Like I said, I'm about 3/4 of the way done with that episode, and that is the one where we really get into the conflict itself. It's going to be a bloody battle, so yeah, expect to see that come probably in the next couple weeks, as I start to make time for myself and can make that happen. Here comes the elite warriors penetrating through the center, choosing out select enemy forces to tackle, and this is going to be an especially tough nut to crack. You can see the pikes facing in both directions. But now you bring in some tough elite forces, and they can break just about anything at this point, especially when the morale is so low. Looks like the raid leader he's back in the fight. We're going to pour everything into this front. And pikemen are pretty strong in this game from the front, and you can get a lot of their heavy numbers. But once you infiltrate the ranks, they're pretty much done for. So let me know also what you guys would like to see in terms of types of battles. I know I've been putting up a lot of the Shogun 2 massive battles. Shogun 2 is honestly just really fun. The use of custom armies is just something really new that none of the other Total Wars has to offer. The maps are balanced. The gameplay for Fall of the Samurai is really interesting, so hopefully you guys enjoy that. I do have a couple more of those battles in store, and then I'm thinking of going back and doing some more Medieval 2 battles. That free-for-all that I played before was just immensely fun, and I think I'm going to try and go back and recreate that again, or try and find some people who would be willing to do that again. Then maybe do some Empire or other battles like that. But yeah, again, sorry for all the news I've been trying to cover Warhammer, because a lot of it has been coming out, and it feels like that's taken a little bit away out of the battles. I just want to make sure that we are still obviously in full swing for these battles. A lot of these obviously are going to be in the works. I just wanted to make sure I covered the other stuff, and also I had a little bit of a stockpile that I wanted to use before, I had to produce more videos, because I had just so much to do in terms of homework. But anyways, that's going to be the end of the battle. Definitely very bloody when you look at this with all the blood effects. The force is just strewn with piles of corpses, and that is really gruesome. I love that the blood sticks around and you don't need a radius mod to do that. So you'll expect to see kind of this level carnage in that next Adrianople documentary. Anyways, let's go ahead and look at some of the stats for our units. So like I said, my army did pretty good in terms of the Nordic horse lords. They have always a lot of kills. The javelin, this guy, is the one who helped clean up a lot of the enemy cavalry, so the positioning on him was just absolutely beautiful. 339 kills. Dogs not getting too much, but for the price of 100, I mean, they trade out really well. About 100 for this. This skirmisher is like 300 talents, I think. So you get 3 dogs, so multiply 60 by 3, 180. You start to get, a comparable amount of kills. So these guys, for their cost, are definitely very effective, especially considering those kills were versus some of the cavalry. So that saved my Nordic horse lords. The rest of my infantry doing okay. My noble elite warriors not doing too much work. They were kind of reserves. Let's see, my ally. The initial wave of Huskarls just chewed through the enemy forces. So these guys definitely having a lot of good stats. Enemy forces not doing super good. Obviously, their elite troops here doing pretty well, but the pike line not doing too well. And it looks like the enemy force here was pretty much shut down by my assault. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, thank you so much for all the comments you guys are leaving on that other video, the 50K subscribers video. It really means a lot. I'm going to try and answer almost every single one of your questions. And I think it's cool that we've been able to sort of have this conversation. So yeah, it seems like from what I saw, you guys would be interested to see some solar content. I am not going to flood it. I'm just going to maybe sprinkle it here and there, some stuff on the solar decathlon, anything interesting now and then that pops in. But expect the bread and butter of this channel to did I say bread and butt? The bread and butter of this channel to continue to be Total War in history. Anyways, thanks again. See y'all in the next one.